Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we have Brother Hamza Khalik from Adelaide, and we'll be speaking about software engineering in this professional webinar. Jazakallah, Brother Hamza, for joining us today.
And Zakila for inviting me.
Um, so before we speak a little bit about your professional studies in software engineering, tell us a bit of your background, Brother Hamza. When did you come to Australia? Where did you have your initial studies, and a little bit of that.
Okay, Zakila. I actually traveled to Australia with my family back in July 1998. So, Alhamdulillah, we've been in Australia for about 27 years now. I was about 9 years old when my family migrated here. And we migrated on a visitor visa. And then after that, after about 6 months or 8 months, Alhamdulillah, we were able to get permanent residency in Australia. And then I was able to actually do all my schooling and all my education here in Adelaide, starting from primary school all the way to high school, and then eventually university, and then also then workforce.
Perfect. So when it came to, figuring out what kind of degree you want to do, why did you decide software engineering, and what was that process like? How did you come to that decision?
Well, initially I wasn't really sure what to do. I knew what I wanted to do, some kind of engineering.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always had hobbies with computers, building computers, repairing people's computers, looking into issues. So I always had that troubleshooting mindset. I was also always into gaming, playing video games. So that also had a bit of a role to play. So
Yeah.
when I heard about software engineering, I
Mm.
found out that it was related to problem solving, but then also programming was involved. So that got me curious and interested. So that's why I actually eventually elected this pathway.
Perfect. And tell us a little bit about the degree that you did. What was the degree called? How long is that degree, and what kind of subjects do you study when you're doing software engineering?
So I did Bachelor's of Software Engineering at Flinders
Mhm.
University.
Yeah.
Most of the engineering courses are 4 years long, so mine was 4 years as well. In
Yeah.
the first year or so, you've got topics like mathematics, and
Hmm.
then you also have some subjects for programming, and then you also have some engineering topics. The
Okay.
engineering topics are mostly like project-based topics, so they try to get you problem solving. So trying to get you to they give you a problem and you try to understand the key concepts around what it is to be an engineer. So, like what kind of standards and things apply? You need to do a lot of reading. So you need to read about different articles and studies that I've done, and then look at the problem or the project that's been given, and try to come up with a solution that is more viable.
Okay.
So
And as you
those,
progress throughout the years, yeah, what other units that you did,
so
and
as
are there opportunities to do different majors within software engineering and stuff like that?
when I was initially doing the degree, they were actually experimenting with how to structure the degree because I think they
Hmm.
had restructured the whole course, and our year was basically an experiment year. So they were trying to
Yeah.
see how the units laid out, the topics played, and they were getting
Mhm.
feedbacks regularly from students and teachers, and just see how this course that they've laid out restructured actually benefits people. So there were opportunities. So you can try and have computer science. So there were some people who combined it with computer science and then also
Mhm.
software engineering. But then, yeah, some people did completely different topics, and not everyone did a double degree.
Mhm.
I actually didn't know I could combine it with something else. It was
Mhm.
later down the track that I found out, but it was a bit too late to start
Yeah.
doing a double degree. So I didn't do it.
So if you were to give us a bit of an overview of some of the other units that you would have done, like do you learn various different programming languages or other
Yeah,
framework or
yeah. So
tools?
you do say that there are different languages that you do learn. So in programming, also back then I was learning about Java. I did C++.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they get you to do that. They get you to learn HTML and like website building and things like that.
Yeah.
So there are
Yeah.
different topics and subjects that teach you different languages, different ways how the software side of things work. But then they also teach you. I remember there was a subject about the hardware side of things. So you need to
Mm-hmm.
understand how the machine learns. So you learned about machine language, like
Mm-hmm.
basically learning a bit about how machine or the computer understands your program in terms of zeros and ones, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's a,
Okay.
good mixture about everything. But then
Yeah.
again, that was just a half part of it. The other part of it was doing project work. So doing lots of reading of different articles and
Yeah.
understanding about software engineering. So software engineering isn't just about programming. It's
Yeah.
actually so the key course or the key focus of software engineering is actually understanding about how do you manage software. So
Mm-hmm.
software engineers aren't entirely responsible for just programming because you can just
Mm-hmm.
do a course in a specific language and become a programmer in that language. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
software engineering is learning more about the management of software. Like how do you do good programming? How do you develop good programs? Anyone can build a program, but then you need to be able to have good version control. Like how do you manage
Yeah.
that within a company? In a company, you can have multiple programmers all working on different aspects of a program. How do you manage that? How do you
Mm-hmm.
lay it out? How do you manage people? So it teaches the course teaches you multiple things. It's not just about programming. If that
Mm-hmm.
is what people are after, they may be slightly going off on the wrong track.
Yeah. Okay. And you touched a little bit on computer science. Can you tell us a little bit about that, if you have some understanding of what that field is about, and how does that differ from software engineering, and where does that lead you if someone was to do software engineering versus computer science?
I personally didn't do computer science, so I can't
Yeah.
give you a lot of information
Fair
on
enough.
that. But computer science, I
Yeah.
think, is more related to how the computer is like the IT side of things slightly. So it
Yeah. Okay.
slowly goes into the IT field and networks and things like that.
Okay, fair enough. So once you had done your 4 year of program, how easy was it to find a job, and what is the job market like at the moment for software engineers?
Okay, so back when I was actually studying, there was actually a very because COVID was also around back then as well. So
Mm.
um,
So when did you
There,
graduate again?
oh,
Sorry,
sorry, no, sorry. It
did you grad?
wasn't. It wasn't COVID.
Yeah.
COVID. There was a financial crash. Like there wasn't a very big demand in Adelaide
Yeah.
itself. So I actually graduated in 2011. So I
Okay.
started my
Yeah.
degree in 2008 and actually
Yeah.
graduated in 2011. But
Yeah.
there wasn't a lot of demand for engineers in Adelaide. There weren't as
Mm-hmm.
many companies investing or in recruiting engineers. So
Mm-hmm.
there were a lot of people when they graduated, they went like interstate. So a lot
Mm-hmm.
of the students that I knew of, a couple went to Sydney, some went to Perth. There was a huge mining boom happening
Mm-hmm.
in Perth as well, and some actually went to the United States as well,
Mm-hmm.
because there's a lot of demand for software engineers in the
Mm-hmm.
United States of America. So, but I had my family here, so I was actually stayed here.
Yeah.
So you were asking about how I got into the workforce. So as part of the engineering, your third year actually, so at Flinders University, they offer a 6 month work experience topic. So it's
Yeah.
compulsory. So everyone needs to find a workplace that they go and do work experience. Some other
Mm-hmm.
universities, all universities, they have an aspect of, I think in your medical field, you'll have work placement, or need
Yeah.
to do a certain amount of placements. In here,
Okay.
it was a similar thing as well. So I had to
Mm-hmm.
go and find work placement. So we were given a list of some companies that we could go and potentially do work experience, but then it was all open. So we could actually go and find any company that we liked or had interest in. And we were required to do our own interviews, go to the interviews, be successful. And if you were successful, then start doing work experience at that company.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I was fortunate to do my work experience at GPA Engineering, which is
Mm-hmm.
actually the company I'm working with at the moment still.
Yeah.
So I
Right.
actually started with them by doing work experience.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I actually got introduced to the whole field of control systems.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's an engineering company that provides various services to different clients. So the clients range from your government departments to your industrial clients, such as your mining or oil and gas clients,
Mhm.
water, electricity, so all different types of clients from different backgrounds. They provide engineering services to them
Okay.
as a subcontractor.
Yeah. So how does or things you learn in within software engineering kind of help you transition into control systems, and what's the difference?
So software engineering gave me the core, I guess, skills to be able to
Hmm.
understand or read programs and understand what they do, and
Okay.
then try and understand how they can be applied to this problem at hand. But then
Yeah.
also they gave me the skills or knowledge to be able to modify programs or develop new programs to the needs of the client. So there's a problem. So this we've got this program, we run it, but we also
Hmm.
need it to be able to do this and this and that. This program only does this at the moment. Like for example, it does a function A. It needs to be able to do function B, C, D. It doesn't do that yet. So you would be able to, I would be able to review the program, find out where the deficiencies are, and
Yeah.
then make either modifications or if there's another software, then provide that as a solution. But
Okay.
like I
Perfect.
said, when I started doing work experience and started working more with the company that I was working with, I actually transitioned from software in engineering to more
Hmm.
to the control side of things. So I
Hmm.
started dealing with control systems out in the
Hmm.
industrial field. So in control systems, look after or manage systems that run big plants. So,
Okay.
for example, if you look at the water industry, you've got big pump stations,
Hmm.
massive pumps that drive water uh, across like many kilometers. To run those pumps, you need to have controllers, and
Okay.
those controllers need to be programmed according to the site needs. So, for example, if the tank level is at this level, and the pump needs to start, pump needs to stop, etc. And
Hmm.
there's like, then you have got water quality, other aspects as well. So this you'll have a unit that controls multiple devices in a plant or in a site, and
Yeah.
so on. So you'd have an oil and gas type industry, you'd have different type controllers looking at gas wellheads and reporting information back to the operator as to how the production's going, how the feed's
Yeah.
going, where the blockages are, what's going on, if there's a fault in the line, where is it at, what needs to be resolved, and so
Yeah.
on. So in the mining industry, it'll be like, oh, you're mining your core minerals and things like that. So they need to go through a whole process to look after the process. You've got these controllers these days. So
Hmm.
the times that we live in today, a lot of things are automated. So
Yeah.
and to automate things, you need to have an understanding of how the machines work and how they need to be
Yeah.
programmed according to the needs of the client, of the process, and things like that.
Yeah.
So that's
Perfect.
why, yeah. So even though I graduated as a software engineer, I
Yeah.
didn't do a whole lot of. I didn't
Software
work
engineering.
too long as a software engineer. I
Yeah.
eventually became a control systems engineer
How
after
long did you
graduation.
do
After
your software engineering role?
um, well, when I first got employed after graduation, so the company actually gave me a full-time employment. I was
Hmm.
like a software slash control systems engineer.
From the beginning, yeah.
And there were some jobs in between that required me to develop some
Hmm.
simple VBA programs and things like that to help make the jobs of like internal projects easier. So
Hmm.
upgrade your everyday tasks that you'd be doing manually on the computer, they were automated so that they could be done with a click of a button.
Hmm.
So those were sort of the tasks that I was given as a software side of, software engineer.
Hmm.
But then eventually I was more involved in assisting other engineers, like other electrical engineers, other civil engineers out in the field, trying to
Hmm.
help solve some of the problems with machines and the human machine interfaces that are out there that need to be programmed, and SCADA. So SCADA is in the control systems world is like a supervisory control and data acquisition. It's basically a system where the operators can sit in the control room, look at the
Mm.
screens, and have a visual understanding of what's happening in the plant. Is the
Yeah.
plant running
Okay.
successfully? Is there a fault? Is there a breakdown? So that it
Yeah.
gives a simple with visual display, it gives cues to the operators as to things are running smoothly or things that need attention. And then immediately the operator can just focus their attention or get other people in the team to attend the site and address a problem that may have
Yeah.
risen up.
Yeah. Beautifully explained. Okay. So looking at the trends where, currently I keep hearing a lot about software jobs are going to be, massively reduced in the future because I think I saw news the other day where Microsoft used like 80%, Microsoft wrote one of the softwares that they were coding for and used like 80% of AI to write up their code and stuff like that. And I've heard a lot about software engineering jobs being markedly affected by that. Is that your understanding as well? And how does the job market in Australia compare with software engineering versus control systems? Or are there any other opportunities where you would encourage
In the
students
future,
to
it
focus
could
on?
be a bit of a problem, but in the
Hmm.
immediate now, I don't see it as a
Hmm.
huge problem. The
Okay.
AIs can definitely help develop programs. That we've got a software development sector in our company as well, and they sometimes, when they're dealing with a new hardware, new system that they don't have
Hmm.
the full knowledge or the time to develop the program for, they can get an AI to give it manuals, give it the inputs like what the program needs to achieve, and the AI can spit out the program as to how
Yeah.
it can do it. But you still need to have an understanding of the program to see, okay, what the AI spit out, is this is this going to work?
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
AI definitely helps speed up the thing. It speeds up the troubleshooting side of things. So instead of you
Mhm.
wasting hours and hours on trying to
Yeah.
develop a program that could do the job, the
Yeah.
AI does that for you. It gives you the program, and then
Yeah.
you still need that knowledge though to look at the program and go, yeah, okay, this is pretty much it. And then you might need to just do a few tweaks to get it working exactly the way you wanted. If you've
Yeah.
got no understanding, so you can't really remove software engineers and have maybe someone who's got no knowledge. They put it into an AI. AI just gives them something. They don't know what they're dealing with. They'll just go, okay,
Yeah.
here you go. But
Yeah. Of course.
yeah, so you still need that aspect of review and quality control and just check that the AI, what the AI is giving you is actually what you're asking it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
in the immediate now where we're at, I would say that the AIs are definitely helping speed up the process. It's
Yeah.
making the jobs easier. But then
Mm.
yeah, so where it it could also see the software engineering morph into another aspect and combine with other disciplines. You've got like
Yeah.
robotics happening as well. You've got network. So it could be that software engineers might need to do some additional tasks other than just doing the typical program or software management that they used to do. That's
Okay, yeah. That's perfect. So I think what I'm reading from what you're saying is because it's making the job a bit easier and it's reducing the work hours, I guess it is bound to impact on that anyway, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it is bound to impact, but isn't
Mm.
just going to bound like impact one job. It's going to
Of
impact
course.
a lot of IT
Yeah.
software, like network side of things. It's going to impact a lot of jobs, but then
Mm.
you also need people to look after it. You still need people to maintain it. You still need
Of course.
people to review what the AI is spitting out as to,
Yeah.
okay, this is actually correct. Yeah, this is what we need. So rather than just blindly trusting it and then going with it and then finding out the hardware that no, actually this was a wrong code and this actually had a negative impact on maybe a site or a hardware failure. So it
Yeah.
can have a lot of consequences if you're not careful and you're completely blindly trusting what AI is giving you.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So knowing, feeding off of all the experience you've had, are there particular subspecialties within kind of your field that you would encourage the students to focus on more?
Sound has dropped off.
Oh, okay.
It's back now.
Back now?
It's
Okay.
back now. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, sorry. I was asking that, having, feeding off of all the experience that you've had so far and looking at the market, are there any particular fields within kind of, software engineering or control system that you would encourage the students to kind of lean towards? Or if you had another go at your career and you could restart it all over again, what kind of things would you focus on more or a slightly different degree or whatnot?
Um, Look, I personally don't think that control systems is going to go anywhere
Yeah.
soon. There's just vast amount of automation being done in every field. Basically,
Mm,
everything is being automated. You've got like robotics coming in that's becoming more and more active. Like that's again machine programming. So that's
yeah.
you're programming machines to do different actions and things and teaching it to behave the way that you want it to behave. And you're starting to incorporate aspects of AI so that it can think for itself. So those are the things you need engineers for, people to design a solution and deploy them. So
Yeah.
control systems engineering is or automation is still going to be around for a while. I wouldn't
Yeah.
see it going away.
Yeah.
If I was to do it all over again and choose another field, um, I'm not too sure. I think I would actually. So if I was to pick another engineering field, I actually wouldn't mind doing electrical. So there
Yeah.
are actually a lot of electrical side of things that, so me being a computer side of things or computer engineer or control systems engineer, electricians, they're actually dealing with different types of electrical stuff. So they've got ELV, which is very low voltage stuff. Then you
Mm,
got low voltage, and then you
mm,
got high voltage, and you're actually dealing with all kinds of things, and everything runs on electricity.
yeah.
So they've got a vast, actually a very big, I guess, field or a field to deal with. They can go into any field that excites them, whether it be in substations or they could go into like computers and things and just look
Mm-hmm.
at how the power is dealt in that, or
Mm-hmm.
even just normal power distribution at your households and things like that. So
Yeah.
or even
There's a lot of
in the
applications.
mining or other places. Yeah,
Yeah.
electricity is a big field.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Um, all right. What are the perks of your job, Brother Hamza? Like, working from home, like other good things about the field that people otherwise don't know that should be considered for students deciding to do software engineering or control systems engineering.
So with control systems, I get the benefit of both worlds. So I get to be in the office
Yeah,
for certain times of the depending on the project. I
yeah,
get to be in the office, so I don't have to be out in the sun or in the rain
yeah.
working every day. So I
Mm,
can be in a nice, cool, nice, relaxed working environment of the
yeah,
office. But then that can sometimes also get boring for some people as well. And this is
yeah.
where this job is very versatile or very flexible, because although you do design work and initial programming or development work in the office, you still
Mm,
need to go out in the field. So you
yeah.
still go get to travel. Like me personally, I've been able to travel all over South Australia and go in places where like normal public people can't go. You need to
Mm,
have permissions or access granted to go to different sites. So
mm-hmm.
that's actually quite exciting. And then you get to actually see how the plants, different types of plants run and operate. In the computer, you're seeing like little small things that are starting and stopping, but when you see it in real life, they're actually massive. Like went to recently, just last week, I've been
Mm,
in Murray Bridge, and I was looking at a pump station,
yeah,
and just one pump set was the size of a room basically. So they've
yeah, wow.
got very massive motors that start up these pumps, and they like one unit consumes so much electricity. It's like
Mm,
I don't know, it's like 100 kilowatt or something. I don't forget. It's like massive amounts of electricity
mm,
that it draws, and it's amazing. And the noise it generates, you need to have earmuffs on just to
Yeah.
see that equipment running.
Yeah.
And yeah, you get to go
To
uh,
different
program
subjects.
this small
Yeah.
controller that's
Mm.
operating this
Uh, yeah.
massive pump. So it's exciting in that sense as
Mm.
well, that you get to travel,
Mm.
but then you also get to enjoy a bit of office life as well,
Mm.
and remote support as well. So with this type of work, we can remotely connect to devices or systems, so we
Mm-hmm.
can work from home as well. So there's that
Mm-hmm.
flexibility, and also support people who may be on site. They're struggling. They can give us a call, and we can remotely try and assist.
Yeah.
So it's everything basically. Get to experience a bit of everything. My
That's
opinion.
awesome. So let's say a high school student who's just considering doing software engineering, are there ways for them to try it out whether this is the right field for them? Like, are there any online courses or boot camps or other projects they can take on to figure it out that this is really what they want to do?
Look, there are definitely so many resources available online.
Yeah.
I personally don't have them handy
Yeah,
right
of
now
course.
at this
Mm.
moment, but I can definitely share that in the future with you. There
Yeah.
are definitely resources available. There's actually so many. If there's any specific programming language, or just if you want to learn how to program things, there's
Mm.
so many tutorials and things free that are available online.
Mm.
There's even people have uploaded projects that you can download, and then you can follow the tutorial and try and just develop that project
Yeah.
by following the tutorial, and you can
Yeah.
learn so much. So there's actually a lot of self-taught or self-learning material available online. And
Yeah.
then you've got the AI aspect of it as well. You can always ask the AI to help you explain in simple terms what this means, what that does,
Mm.
and that can be another aspect. But even I think in year 10, I think there's work experience. So
Yeah.
I would encourage the students, instead of just going to maybe a retail shop or
So
doing
yeah.
work experience there, go to a company, find out
Yeah.
what the work environment at an engineering firm is like.
Mm.
Just
That's very good advice. Yeah.
a couple of weeks back, I actually had one of our young tifl who are on the verge of becoming a khadim.
Mm.
They were doing completing year 10, and they actually
Mm.
came and did work experience for a week at my company, and
Yeah.
they were fortunate enough to play around with some of the softwares and things that I get to use. They were able to interact with other engineers from other disciplines and just find out how engineers life is basically at first hand. And if they have
That's awesome. Yeah.
questions, they've got the people right there.
Yeah.
So I would
No, that's a
definitely
very
say that those people, those students who are still in high schools, I think a lot of high schools offer work experiences.
mm.
Even I think for even if it's just for a day, I would
Yeah.
encourage just go out and see how it's like.
Yeah, that's very good advice, I believe, because this is something you're going to be doing for the rest of your life. So you better know what
Exactly.
you're getting yourself into, rather than just looking at the name of the degree and just choosing it because there's no other option. So,
Exactly. And
um,
no matter what I say or no matter what anyone else says,
yeah,
there's nothing that gives you more experience if you go see it for yourself.
of course.
When you go see it for yourself, you understand, you get that feeling of, is this something that I want to do for the rest
Mm,
of my life? Or is this something that is good, bad? If you have questions, because sometimes when you're in that environment, questions pop up in your head and you can
mm,
ask them then and there. It's like, oh, how does this work? Or what is this like? Or what are you
mm,
responsible for? Or if this happens, what do you normally do?
yeah,
So you can ask a real life engineer. Doesn't have to be me. It can be. Alhamdulillah, we've got a
of
lot of
course.
engineers.
Yeah.
You can ask them anytime, and then yeah, I'm sure we can all give them the answers that they need.
Absolutely. And I think that's something growing up I lacked, and I'm sure you lacked as well, that, we at that age did not have the, I guess, understanding or the focus to figure it out. Like, let me go speak to, let's say, a doctor, and, what do you do on a daily basis? What is a study like and stuff like that. I was just like, oh yeah, just be a doctor, just we'll try and be a doctor. But I guess that's one of the reasons we are trying to do this webinar session as well for, kids or other Khuddam who are still trying to either thinking of switching a field or whatever, to have the bit of an insight before they get their feet wet.
Definitely.
Mm.
And again, would also encourage them to not think that this is something that you'll be doing for the rest of your life. You can always change. That the thing with
Absolutely,
these
yeah.
kind of jobs, like engineering, is such a vast field. So you might like I said, I graduated as a software engineer, but I'm
Mm,
not working as a software engineer for the rest of my life. I actually transitioned and became a control systems engineer.
mm,
But then again, like if I got tired of doing this, I could transition into maybe doing something else, maybe do mechatronics or robotics or something which
mm,
is similar but is focusing on something else. I could
yeah.
even transition to more electrical side of things because control system engineers, they work closely with electrical engineers
Mm,
and other vice versa. So it engineering, I guess, gives you the skills or gives you that mindset to be able to look at a problem and offer solutions and go into any field. So
mm-hmm.
whatever interests you, if you have that passion, that drive, then I think you can just morph or transition into whatever field that interests you.
That's awesome. And just lastly, I'm just intrigued. And how does that work, Brother Hamza? Like, how do you do while you're working? Does your employer has to kind of support you do some courses, or they'll just make you do a bit of maybe change your department or something? How do you transition?
That depends on your employer.
Hmm.
So when I started with the company, they got me working on projects that were more focused on control side of things. But then they
Mm-hmm.
also gave me projects that were software based as well,
Yeah. Okay.
and it got me that knowledge and experience through just working on the aspects. And there's
Mm-hmm.
also courses and things. So I'm pretty sure that a lot of employers, no matter where they are, they all encourage training.
Yeah.
So like even now, even after 10 years or so, I would say I'm still learning. So I'm still
Mm.
always learning and doing new trainings, learning about different hardwares or softwares that are coming out or different
Mm-hmm.
ways of doing things.
Yeah.
So training is always a key aspect to transitioning. So you could be working as a software engineer, but you could be doing additional training or courses or just helping people from a different aspect or different engineering field. And
Mm-hmm.
every time you're working on it, you're gaining that knowledge, you're gaining that
Absolutely.
experience. And when you have that experience, you can start helping either that you can talk to your manager or boss, and then you could maybe start getting more involved with those kinds of projects that interest you. And the more you get involved, the more you get experience, the more you're likely to be able to get highly efficient at it and more experienced at it. And you're like in that sense qualified because
Mm.
you've got the experience. And then that's a matter of then professionally getting qualified is just a matter of doing the training or course that's
Yeah.
necessary. But
Yeah.
you already have the knowledge, so you'll
Yeah.
be easily be able to complete that training or
So you
course
don't
that's needed.
always need a degree that says, bachelor's of this. Once you get into the field and the working environment and you gain certain experience, you can do small little courses on the side or
I would
whatever.
say
And
you need at least a very like first level of engineering,
of
no
course,
matter
yeah,
what it is, and
yeah.
then from there
After that,
onwards,
yeah.
you can do additional training and courses to go in the pathway that is more appealing or
Hmm.
um, more fun, I guess, that for you that's like, oh yeah, this is more fun. And then you start doing those sort of projects and it's like, oh, okay, what else do I need? And then the employer or your manager could assist you, oh, you need to be certified for this, or you need to have this
Hmm.
training done. You
Hmm.
can get that training done and
On the
then you're
side while you're
certified.
working, yeah. Absolutely,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Brother Hamza, are there any last bits of advice or anything that we haven't covered that's quite pertinent to your field that you'd like to mention or share?
I think we've covered everything, but
We have
again,
gone
like
over
I was
things, yeah.
saying, but again, as I was saying, like with engineering, with any kind of engineering, it's not just oh you're just doing one thing at a time. It's more about problem solving. So you
Hmm.
have a problem. How do I solve this problem?
Hmm.
And you need to be willing to go to other people. Like nowadays, it's not just oh I have this problem. I must solve this by myself.
Hmm.
There's no harm in talking to a colleague or a friend. It's like, hey, look, I've got this problem. Have you ever encountered this before? Or have you ever
Hmm.
seen this before? How would you go about it? And then they could give
Hmm.
you ideas. You could go and talk to other people in the field or other people or your friends from the Jamaat. You can ask them as well. So I would
Mm,
encourage people to have more of an open mindset and be willing to help each other. So if someone comes to
mm,
you, I recommend the same thing as well. Help the other person out,
mm.
because who knows, in the future you might actually need help from them and they'll
Yeah,
help you.
yeah,
So the
that's
more
awesome.
that we're willing to share knowledge, the
Yeah,
more we'll be able to prosper and get better at our jobs and improve.
yeah. I guess one last thing that just popped in my head, Brother Hamza, in your field, are there opportunities to start your own business or service as become a service provider or stuff, or do you just always have to work with companies?
Yeah, no, so there is opportunities, but it depends though. So the clients or the people that I'm mostly dealing with are more large scale clients. So they do need you to be involved or linked with a company that has
Mm-hmm.
got like an X amount of people who can support a project.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
because they're big scale projects, you
Yeah.
can't expect one person to be able to achieve it. So it's not like a tradesman job where you can just go and achieve a job by yourself. It
Yeah.
is more of a teamwork.
Right.
You're doing it as a team. But then again, like there are certain like control systems is such a huge field as well. So you could focus on smaller vendors like farmers, for example, who may just have like this one controller that just
Mm-hmm.
maybe controls the way their plants are watered
Mm-hmm.
or their irrigation system. So that could be something that you could go out. So once you are qualified, you've got enough experience, you'd go
Mm-hmm.
out and give them help or assistance.
Okay. Yeah.
And that
That's
also
good.
just reminded me as well. So once you do graduate and become an engineer,
Mm-hmm.
you are not really an engineer as
Mm-hmm.
such.
Mm-hmm.
Like doctors are so in the engineering field, it's the experience that counts. So
Yeah.
once when you graduate your degree and become you're actually a graduate engineer. So when
Right.
you
Yeah.
go out to companies or so, the companies will look at your experience and they'll realize, okay, you have the theoretical side of things, but you don't
Mm-hmm.
have field experience.
Yeah.
So once you get involved with the company and start working on projects, start understanding and getting trained on the job, so you've got more
Mm-hmm.
qualifications, more experience to handle what the client requirements are. That's
Mm-hmm.
when you start progressing through your engineering role and go from say a graduate engineer to an engineer, senior engineer, and so on, experienced engineer, and so on.
Yeah.
So there's you don't just immediately become just like to just say that if you have the mindset that if you finish a degree, I'm an engineer,
Yeah.
don't immediately just think that because in the
Yeah.
engineering field, your experience is what counts. So
Counts a lot. Yeah.
how long have you been working in that
In a
profession?
particular role. Yeah.
How familiar you are with the industry standards and the way
Mm-hmm.
things are done? That then that is what the employers are normally looking at, and that's what
Awesome.
they would go for.
Awesome. No, Jazakallah for mentioning that. Jazakallah, brother Hamza. I really, really appreciate your time. I've learned a lot about software engineering, not only software engineering, but also control systems. Whereas previously, obviously, we are friends from before, you would have told me controls engineer. I was like, oh, yeah, yeah, sure. You know, I know what it means, but actually learning a little bit more about what it involves and things like that, it's actually good to know. But I'm sure our brothers who will be listening to this in the future as well will get a better understanding, and hopefully we'll be able to help some of them out figuring out whether control system engineers is something they want to become. But once again, Jazakallah for your time. Really, really appreciate.
Yeah, it's Zakir Hadi.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Okay. Walaikum assalam.